Hey there, traders. Christopher Ewell back with you again today. 10MinuteStockTrader.com is where I hail from, and I appreciate you letting me come into your Benzinga live stream today. Today, we're going to be talking about a few things. First things first, we're going to be talking about the market. We're talking about what I'm seeing out there. You're probably seeing the same thing too. Second, we're going to be looking at some new trade setups, some ideas going in the next few days. And in the last part of the show, everyone's favorite, and I can't wait, we will backtest stocks live right on the screen for you. So if you are interested in that, smash the like button. Let's get right into it. This is the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast, brought to you by 10MinuteStockTrader.com, where we cover finance, stocks, options, entrepreneurship, education, and money. And here's your host, voted one of the top 100 people in finance, Christopher Ewell. Hey there, traders. Welcome back to today's How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast. Today, we have a special lesson for you. I'm putting it here on the podcast because I really believe that this is going to provide you massive, massive value. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And hey, listen, if this podcast was useful to you at all, I really highly suggest that you go check out the full trading course at AIStockTradingSystem.com. That's AIStockTradingSystem.com. Markets are people. People are predictable. Outlier can show you how to track market fear and greed with artificial intelligence on over 1,300 of the largest market cap names. Visit outlier.com to learn more. That's OVTLYR.com. They have a free pilot program for the rest of 2021 you can get access to right now at OVTLYR.com. That's OVTLYR.com. Hey, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified every time we give you more tools, tips, and tricks to help you trade faster and trade smarter every single week. Hey there, traders. Like the intro said, my name is Christopher Ewell. I run the website 10MinuteStockTrader.com, and that is where we give people the tools, tips, and tricks to help them trade faster and trade smarter. And in the chat right now, up on your YouTube's screen, do me a favor. Type in what is your favorite stock of the day? What are you trading? What are you looking at? What do you want to look at? Maybe you just haven't had a chance to trade it yet. We're going to backtest those guys. So go up in the chat box, type all of those in for me. We'll take a look at those in just a little bit. You know, I have a little bit of a concern for this market. And I had this last week. And it has all of it to do with the datas, right? People look at the market in different ways. I like to look at it very structured. I'm a very analytical, very data person. I can't draw lines on a screen to save my life. Like when my wife and I, we went to like one of those, painting with a twist class where you drink and you paint at the same time. And the instructor's like, Chris, you're probably a pretty type A personality, right? And I was like, yeah, why? And he said, well, I told you like do green, the lighter green, or whatever. And you have like perfect rows. And he's like, whenever I see somebody like that, I automatically know that they're a very type A analytical person, not so much the artistic person. So when I see a market that shows this kind of information, let's take a look at it, right? First things first, we did hit new all-time highs in the SPY, which ironically, we are closing at right now the same point we were at September 2nd. So basically 2 months ago. So we've trended sideways during that time, but it's been quite a ride up and back down. But here's the thing that caught me, and I mentioned it on last week's episode. I'm finding less and less, fewer and fewer stocks that I personally would be interested in owning. Now we're talking about this right on the back and in the middle of about 1 million trades or a million stocks that are reporting earnings this week. Speaking of earnings, have you seen some of the responses from these earnings? Twitter got murdered. Gut checked murdered. Down 10%. Visa down nearly 7%. MasterCard down 6%. Below its 200-day too. I'm finding this over and over and over. Everywhere I look, I am seeing fewer and fewer stocks setting up long. But that's also an opportunity if you are a trader like myself who can go both ways. just when it comes to stocks is what I'm talking about here. So looking at this, the only trades that I have on in my portfolio is something that you're very familiar with, CVS. CVS is the only trade that I have on right now. Reason being is A, it's been trending higher over the last couple of weeks. I got in at 87.64. I back tested this dude, and that's what you're going to see right here on the chart that's going out to the far right-hand side is the blue cloud. Now, the blue cloud, that's our back testing results. That says, hey, Chris, here's some confidence to say over the last 1,000 candles, this trade, on average, moves like this. The dark blue line is the price. On average, it moves to. And the light blue cloud, that's the lower and upper 25 percentile. So basically, we're expecting CVS to move in this manner. But sometimes back tests don't work. There's a fantastic quote. I shared it a couple weeks ago on the episode here. It's offense, that's your edge. That's what we're going to talk about here and over the next half hour. And be sure in the comments that you are dropping your favorite stocks to be looking at some of the edge. Offense is your edge. Defense is your position sizing. Because this may be the greatest trade in the world, or at least you think it is. And you put it on, you leverage up, you put everything in your account into this, and then it turns around and it doesn't work for you. I'm going to show you one that I had a loser on this week, XRT. This is the ETF for the retail sector. Now, I don't think it still does, but at one point, this had GameStop in it, and watch what happened. It rocket shipped, right? It went along with GameStop. Ba-boom. But now we're looking at today. I don't really dig deep into see what is in these ETFs. I don't trade a lot of ETFs. I like to trade single name stocks. But this one fit all my criterias. I was interested and ready to go on this. And I put my money in at 95.86. And I back tested this and made a note to myself. I'm going to use the 10-day exponential moving average, which is the blue line here on this chart. In fact, give me 2 seconds here. I'll clear everything except for that line real quick so it's a little cleaner. Just the blue line, the 10-day. And I said, hey, I'm going to follow this guy as far as it goes. And it went up. And then it came right back down. And I got out. But I got out even earlier than my 10-day. Because looking at this, I said, you know what? Something ain't right here. There's an old adage that says, a winning horse does not back up into the gate, which is exactly what XRT did. And I even pulled the trigger to get out early, and then it went down another 2.3% today. So, yeah, I lost $1.70 per share, but I would have lost close to, over $4 if I had left it on another day, hoping and wishing and praying that it would work out. And that's where the defense comes in. We talked about offense, which is finding your edge. The defense is your portfolio position size on each trade. Because this didn't hurt me, like at all. I don't care. That's the mindset of a winning trader. You have to be ready on offense, and you have to push your advantage. But you also have to say, oh, you know what? This isn't working. I got to wipe my hands of it real quick. Going back to CVS, we talked about just a second ago, offense and impressing your advantage. I got in 87.64. I will average up 89.13, and I will average up again at 90.60. Because if it's moving this way, then I know I've done something right, and I'm going to get on board. But I would not at all be the person who averages down. Sure, it brings your break-even point down, but we don't know what's going to happen on the far right-hand side of this chart. Even though we back-tested it and we have an idea and we have an expectation that, hey, this might continue on in this way, and it performed well within this back test, and then all of a sudden it broke. past performance is not indicative of future results. I say that jokingly, but I also say that to mean you can have everything set up in the world for you. But if your offense and defense are not combined, working together, you can take a fantastic trade and just throw it down the toilet. So that was what I wanted to cover in my portfolio. If you found this useful, going through this, smash like for me. I'm going to say that a few times because it lets a couple things happen. It lets Benzinga know that you like this kind of content, that you value the fact that they're having me on their program. And it lets the YouTube algorithm go out to more people so that more people can find this and they can learn from it too. I'm not a day trader. I don't even like to consider myself, quote, a swing trader. I just trade the opportunities that are given to me. And I only trade in the last hour of the day. One of my friends, Steve Burns, you may have seen him on Twitter. He's got literally 400,000 followers. He wrote in one of his books. It's on a podcast episode that I just covered the other day. In fact, I forgot to mention this earlier. If you find this kind of content valuable, do me a favor. Go up to your YouTube search bar and type in 10-minute stock trader. And you're going to come to my channel here. We have over 10,000 subscribers, over 500 podcast episodes. I'm mentioning one that is in the Trading Habits book by my friend Steve Burns. He says, the first hour of the day is amateur hour. The last hour of the day is when the professional traders come to town. And it's also when all the institutions and all the mutual funds are making their moves. And you want to be a part of that. Because how many times have you bought something early on in the day, and then by the end of the day, it's reversed, and you're like, oh, geez, if I'd only waited. I know I went through that a lot. So it's like, how about I just remove that side of the equation? So I'm only looking for my setups at the end of the day. Listen, I would love for you to come and subscribe to there. Speaking, Mark Minervini, U.S. investing champion leader for the year 2021. I'm actually going to be talking about him later on in the episode today in my final thoughts. But also, Market Wizard Jack Schwager, author of the Market Wizard series. We just had him on recently, and I've been in contact with Tom Basso, another Market Wizard. He's going to be on the podcast soon. So if you're not already subscribed, please be sure to go into your YouTube search bar, type in 10-minute stock trader, and we'll see you over on that side. But next, let's take a look at some new trade setup ideas. Before I do that, let's jump into the comments. I appreciate you guys all taking the time to do that. Okay, I know this account. The Bogdanovs. If you haven't watched these videos, these are hilarious to me. The Bogdanov brothers and the whole crypto dump it. It's really, really funny. I would highly recommend you do that. But I don't think that's a real person. So Igor, I don't know if I believe you if Google's the best stock. JG, Twitter, daggum, right? 10% down on the day. That's a big old bloody day. 10.7 now. Oof. Microsoft, GNUS, oil gas. Listen, these I would love to backtest. So do me a favor, smash the like and smash the comments on what you want to see. Ford just hit a home run. Did it? Oh. It's up 2.3. I'm not reading this right or something. Oh, they just reported earnings. Okay. I don't know all the details on that yet. All right. Let's do this. The strategy. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. I keep it super simple. We're only going to be looking at above the 10-day, which is the blue line here, and below the 10-day. So that'll be the third segment of the episode. What I want to do is I want to talk about some trade ideas that you could look at. First things first, earlier on in the day, I have three main indicators that give me some sense of market direction. Number one is the SPY. I want to see it above its 10-day. In fact, let me draw in all my lines again. By the way, these lines are not like magical. They're just data points. Okay. So as we go through this, remember, it's about finding your edge and finding what works for you. It's not about saying it's one simple indicator line that you see in all the YouTube ads and things like that. But for me, I need to see the market with the 10-day above the 20-day, which it is, the price above, that's the blue line and the black line. The price, the current price, is above the 50-day, which is the red line, and all of that looks sharp. Next, I need to see the MMFI, the percent of stocks above their 50-day moving average, to be over 50. It was, like an hour ago. It ain't anymore. And that concerns me, right? I've done it before and I'll do it again. When the market is hitting all-time highs and you're having less and less participants come to town, that's a really bearish sign. So much so, in fact, that my friend Mark Minervini, who I spoke about earlier, tweeted this today like an hour ago, 2:59 p.m. That was 18 minutes ago. The market strength is an illusion. Yes, some areas have done well, but with fierce rotation, the names and sectors change day to day. The percent of stocks above their own 200-day is 37. He's using the 200-day. I'm using the 50-day. The point is, the breadth is not there. Considering the NASDAQ is well above its 200-day and near all-time highs, that's not a great sign. What he's trying to convey, and I'm trying to say the same thing too, is that you're hitting new all-time highs with fewer and fewer and fewer stocks. That's a huge concern. We'd want to see new all-time highs with huge participation, because then you can just throw a dart and everything's looking beautiful. If you found that useful, smash the like button, because this is some really, really good stuff. Now, let's talk about some new trade ideas. Like I said, CVS, this is one that I'm in right now. I also found MAR. This is Marriott International, did really well today. Let's strategy test this real quick. Remember, over and under the 10-day exponential moving average. That's all we're testing here. Negative 1.79%. So I would skip MAR. Pepsi also had a pretty strong day. Oh, I got a lot of notes on here from when I've traded this before. Hang on. Let me remove everything. All right. Pepsi shows an 18.54% return. Let's paint this trades on the chart. So if you're looking to trade Pepsi, this does have some legs to it. And it's already passed its earnings. So this may be one you might be interested in. Let's look at BAX. 1.42%. Not a lot, but it is still positive. We could paint the trades on the chart. The only concern I have with this is that earnings are in the next couple days, so it ain't for me. XLK. This is the technology ETF, which, let's be realistic here. If you bought anything tech, of course it's gone up. 65% cumulative returns. Paint the trades on the chart. Yeah, this looks really strong for backtest. But hear me out. If the market is working against you, doesn't matter what you buy. The rising tide lifts all ship, and a falling tide. But I heard somebody said it here on the Benzinga show. They said a falling tide shows who's swimming naked, which is pretty funny. But also at the same time, it does ring true, right? If the market's going down, doesn't matter what you buy, everything's going down. You just want to find the ones that are leading the charge either up or leading the charge down along with the market. Interesting fact. Check out that in the back test. Beautifully carrying inside the back test. All right, let's come to the third section of the show here. This is the audience request for back testing, which I love to do. Hey, if you haven't already typed in your number one favorite stock in the chat, what are you waiting for? We're going to run out of time and you wouldn't have had a chance for me to take a look at it. Time is of the essence here. Let's take a look at Twitter. Here's something that I would also like to bring up on Twitter. It's below its 200-day. And it's been like knocking on the door for it for a while. I would be very cautious with Twitter. Just saying. Truthfully, I'll be looking to go shorter than long, but I assume that you're looking to go long. Okay, really, 247% cumulative return over the last 1,000 days. Now, I can't paint this on the chart because it's below its 10-day exponential moving average. If it were above, I could paint on there. We got to have a conversation about it. But right now, it's looking weak, double, triple weak sauce, and I would be avoiding it. But JG, thanks for that. Das Beeps, Microsoft. Oh, yeah, I saw this earlier today. Monster day. What was it up? 4.3%? Backtested this not all that long ago. Let's see. So on the 10-day, cumulative return over 1,000 trades, 26% versus 272 for the stock. Now, I like to point this out because the stock has advanced 272% over the last 1,000 candles. But keep in mind, we can't control what the stock does. We can only control what our strategy does. Our strategy underperformed the stock significantly, but our strategy was positive. We don't know what the stock will do, but we do have full control of when we enter and exit based on a strategy. This is called an edge. This is how you find alpha. Even though it's less than the stock, it still is a positive return. So for me, that still makes it a candidate to trade. So yeah, Das Pips looks great. Mike Miller, how are you, sir? Gina's Genius Brand International Inc. There is some news on it today. Actually, several points. Company announced it will acquire Wow Unlimited Media. This one also has had like some crazy moves, but to be said here, if you bought the stock 1,000 candles ago, you're down 40%. If you followed this strategy over and under a 10-day exponential moving average, just one simple line on your chart, 117% cumulative return. That's the power of trading with an edge. And this edge may not play out for everything or everyone, but when you can find something like this, where you can see the stock performed poorly, but the strategy murdered it, that's a really great scenario. So Mike, thank you so much for that. Avi, gas. I would like some gas to go down in price. All right, interesting, right? The stock has gone down 30% cumulatively over the last 1,000 candles. This strategy has performed negative 2.9%. So to me, that says this is not something I would trade from the long side because my edge is gone. I'm actually expecting to lose money. So with that being said, this is not the only strategy. It's just my favorite and one of the easiest ones to do, just above or below a 10-day exponential moving average. You can change this to a simple. You can change this to a MACD crossover. You can change it to a 2-day moving average, whatever the case is. The point is finding what works and then exploiting that to the nth degree. I'm a huge advocate for that. AMD. Das Pips again. AMD. Hey, if you're finding this useful, smash the like button. That way more people can find it useful as well. All right, let's talk about AMD. I did really well with AMD this year. I got in at 95. I got out at 110. So I caught this whole move up here. And then I'd seen a lot of people on social media talking about how, basically from here to here, AMD's going to explode. AMD's going to explode, right? I mean, let's say you're buying out of the money options. At any point in time, if you bought out of the money calls, you have nothing to show for it. And then, hey, look at that. It decides to come back to life. AMD, pink trades on the chart, showed 146% cumulative return. That's a fantastic number. As you can see here, not only was it a fantastic number, but it's tracking better than the back test. Not saying it will forever, but the market's been hella bullish, and this has been tracking really well with its back test. You got to have the two in sync. Yeah, great job on that, Das Pips. All right, moving down the list here. Bill, how are you, sir? Oh, no, I just got a nasty gram from Money Mitch. He said, you got 5 minutes left, bro. Come on, dude. I could do this all day. If you also could do this all day, go up to your YouTube search bar. type in 10-minute stock trader, because it's what we do. That way you don't miss it. Mike, you are welcome, sir. I love doing this kind of stuff. All right, let's keep on going down the list here. Steve is the best. He is the best. He's a really, really sweet guy too. I'll tell you, Steve was so monumental to me. It's because of Steve Burns pounding into my head, you have to backtest your strategy. You have to quantify what's working. That I literally flipped the way that I traded on its head and all of a sudden started making money. I was like, holy crap. Looks like I tell a story because it's so true. I was finding every way possible to not make money. And all of a sudden, I ran out of ways to do it. I started listening to people who have been there before, know what they're talking about, and I started making money. Yeah, for sure. Steve is the best. Okay, let's running out of time here. I'm gonna do one last one. Boyle. All right, ProShares, Ultra, natural gas. Okay, natural gas had a monster move the other day. What was it? UNG. Yeah, it was something stupid, like 11%. Is this it? Hang on. I wanna do it. Yeah. From the previous day close to the high on October 25th, it was up 11%. Imagine if you got calls on that. Jeez, you would have murdered it. Anyways, so Boyle is the one you were asking about. Strategy test. 10-day. Ooh. Negative 23%. The reason being is that this is a leveraged ETF, is what I'm guessing. ProShares Ultra, Bloomberg Gas. Hang on. Boyle ETF. Yeah, it's a leveraged ETF. Because it's a leveraged ETF, they work against you. There's no point in time where a leveraged ETF actually works long-term because the mathematics behind it. The losses mount faster than the gains, right? And I bet if I scroll this way, yeah, it's been reverse split at least once, maybe several times. And because of that, if you are going to trade something like this, you got to be in, you got to be out. You're not waiting on those 10 days, right? You're waiting on like a 1 to 3 day move. Because if you don't get that, the compounding effect of the losses, or I shouldn't say losses, but the compounding effect of the down days work exponentially greater than the compounding effect of the up days. Got real deep on that for a second. Sorry. I tell you, I love this kind of stuff. And I could talk about stocks all day long, but I do have to go soon. But before I do that, we're going to talk about our final thoughts. If you're finding this useful, please smash like if you haven't already. And then do me one more solid. Head on over to the 10-Minute Stock Trader YouTube channel and subscribe. That way you'll get more tools, tips, and tricks just like this every single week. But let's talk about our final thoughts of the day. You're going to love this one. Do What You Can't by Casey Neistat. One of the things I like to do before I do like anything like this, anything important in my life, is I actually like on YouTube, there's this video. It's called Do What You Can't. Just type in Do What You Can't. And it's Casey Neistat. He's a filmmaker, but it's so motivational to me because he's saying, you know what? Throughout your entire life, and I'm probably speaking not just about my own experience, but your entire life, you've had somebody in your ear, that little devil on your shoulder saying, you can't do this. You can't do that. Why do you trade? You can't be a successful trader. You got to flick that dude off, right? You got to do what you can, but you can't do it on your own. You need tools, you need tips, you need resources. You need to follow the people like we're doing right here on Benzinga. Find the people that know what they're talking about and have been there before. And then you're going to start doing what you can't. And it's so motivational to me to talk about it because where I'm sitting right now was impossible, literally impossible to have done 5 years ago. I just updated to the latest version. But the point is, you can do this. You're not going to be able to do it right away. But if you take consistent actions, take consistent steps every day, one day I hope you will be able to do what you can. So that wraps up today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button. I really appreciate you spending the time that you did with me. And hang on. I feel neglected who's watching here on YouTube. I am responding to all the chats that I see here. I'm sorry, Mike. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll help you out as best I can. Always great advice. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Good luck with your trades, everyone. Exactly. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you next time. Okay, so what'd you think? That was pretty incredible, right? Now, if you liked that, that's only a taste, only a sample of what you're going to find in the full AI stock trading system. And I really highly encourage you to go and check this out. Obviously, you are interested in learning and how to trade, and that's why you're listening to this podcast. Now, I'm going to take and download my entire trading system that I use day in and day out onto you. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is over at the AIStockTradingSystem.com. You're going to get phase 1, 2, and 3, several bonuses, and on top of that, I'm going to walk you through over a dozen trades that I put on inside of my account, holding your hand and showing you exactly how I got in, how I got out, how I use the artificial intelligence data, and how this could work inside of your own trading portfolio on a daily basis. So make sure you head on over to AIStockTradingSystem.com. That's AIStockTradingSystem.com to learn more and to get started and to download my decade plus worth of trading experience into your hands so you can start using the AI stock trading system today, the 5-step system to take the guesswork out of trading. Hey, if you like this video, let me know by leaving me a like below, and then subscribe and share it with somebody you think could use it as well. Be sure to comment below with your biggest takeaway from this episode and any suggestions you have for future episodes. And finally, make sure you watch these other videos to help you trade faster and trade smarter, and I'll see you on the next episode. Hey, if you like this video, let me know by leaving me a like below, and then subscribe and share it with somebody you think could use it as well. Be sure to comment below with your biggest takeaway from this episode and any suggestions you have for future episodes. And finally, make sure you watch these other videos to help you trade faster and trade smarter, and I'll see you on the next episode.